If you remember that slide about Booleans, you see that at the bottom, for the Boolean operators, we get a couple of operators we haven't seen yet. And there are three operators where it might not be clear what they do. Exclamation mark equal, is, and in. What do these operators do? Let's take a closer look. I'll actually use the REPL for that real quick, because it doesn't really fit into our blockchain project, but of course you can write that code in a py file and execute it with the Python command as we did it in the last lectures too. But let me quickly show you how this works. The cool thing about the REPL is we can simply do something like 1 equals 1, and if we hit enter, we get back true, because, well, obviously these two match. So what's the exclamation mark equal thing then? Well, if I enter 1, exclamation mark equal 1, what do you expect we'll get back? We get back false, because 1 equals 1, and the exclamation mark equal operator checks for the opposite. It checks whether 1 is not equal to 1. Of course, the more realistic case is that you have some data, maybe name, and I use input your name. If I hit enter, I'm prompted to enter my name, Max, and then I check if name is not equal to Chris. And that is true, because name obviously is Max. So this is a common case. You want to check that a value is not equal to another value. Now, what about is and in? The is operator is kind of comparable to the double equal sign operator. If we type 1 is 1, we get back true. We'll only be able to understand the difference after the next module when we dive into the difference between reference and value types. But here's a short preview. If I have my arrays data, 1, 1.5, 3.4, and test data, which holds the same values, so the exact same values, make sure to not mistype, then doing data equal test data with the double equal sign operator yields true, because Python will then compare the values in the two arrays, or lists as they are called in Python. Now, the important thing is, actually, data and test data do hold the same values, but they're two different objects in memory. And again, this is something I'll come back to in detail in the next course module. Data is test data will yield false. And that is because is does not check the values in there, but it checks if they're really the same object. Now, again, I'll come back to this later. Now, what about the in operator? With that, we can check if a certain value is inside an iterable, or in our case, a list, because we haven't learned about other iterables. So if I check 1 in data, I get back true because 1 is in data. Here it is. If I check 2 in data, I get false because there is no 2 in there. And by the way, also for 3 in data, because 3.4, of course, is not the same as 3, the integer 3. So that is exclamation mark equal, is, and in. I'll come back to is in the next module. In and the other one, exclamation mark equal, should be pretty clear, hopefully.